Good day, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Packard Network Live. Today, the cameras are in Hong Kong, where my very special guest, Mr. Daniel Chow, is joining us. And it's going to take me a while to do an introduction because this individual has so many credentials. It may take me a while to get through it, but I promise to make my way through it. But Daniel and I are going to talk about how great leaders attract, inspire, and grow world-class sales forces. Daniel has worked in many markets overseas, in Hong Kong. He's in Hong Kong right now. He spent many years there, but he's also spent a lot of time in overseas markets, as I have. And so I'm sure that everybody watching this is going to gain a lot from our conversation as we talk about a very common, important subject in any company, even beyond financial services. There's many people watching this program that are outside of financial services, and a lot of the things that we'll be talking about will apply in your industry as well. So Daniel is a high-achieving sales professional, expatriate executive with many years of overseas experience across retail banking, wealth management, and private banking. So he's worked across all of those segments, and he is a renowned expert in the banking and financial services industry. And he's worked across all aspects, branch banking management. He's a distribution expert. He's run branch networks. He's led wealth management teams. He's worked and led treasury and FX business, foreign exchange businesses. He's overseen retail marketing and all different aspects of sales management. So the credentials are very high. He's been in retail and private banking for over 43 years. He retired 2016 from banking. But as you're going to find out, he didn't retire from life. And I think that that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get Daniel on the program, because he did not retire from life. He's constantly learning and developing new things. And a big part of that is that he, in January of this year, 2021, you just heard me say he retired in 2016 from banking, but he just got his bachelor degree this year. So he never stops learning. And he's in the process right now of completing the final semester of an MBA in the UK. So don't ever let anybody tell any of you that when you retire, you stop learning. Mr. Chow is a renowned expert in this industry. He retired and he's continuing to learn more every day, as evidenced by these credentials. After his banking retirement, Daniel joined Everbright Sung Hung Kai as managing director and head of private client services. And he'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But basically, in summary, more than 4 decades of experience in this space, working in highly competitive markets: Hong Kong, Taiwan, Indonesia, Macau. He's worked for, he and I are both Citi alumni. I 19 years, Daniel 33 years with Citi. So there's been just, the credentials are very high. He's also worked for the UBS private bank in Hong Kong, and he ran branches for Standard Chartered Bank. And he worked in Hong Kong, Pearl River, Delta. And so basically thousands of salespeople have worked under Daniel's leadership across 4 decades. And Daniel, I'm sure I didn't cover everything because I could probably talk for the full 30 minutes about your credentials, but hopefully those are the main points. And welcome to the Packard Network.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for all the kind words. So my last job is with Standard Chartered Bank in Taiwan. And there I learned quite a lot of Mandarin, but now I almost forget.
Yeah, well, it's in your DNA. Daniel, why don't you, before we really get into the heart of why we're here, just if there's anything that I missed that you'd like to highlight in terms of your career experience, feel free to take a minute or two now to do so.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Brad. You have covered almost everything of myself, and I'm proud to be a banker and a wealth management employee so far. And I like learning, and I learn every day. So hopefully I can continue to learn from each other every day, and make me more happy then. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great. And that always, excuse me, in my engagement interaction with you, always came through in your leadership that you conveyed to people that you were leading, is to never stop learning and to learn something new every day. And we'll get into, how you were able to use that to motivate and inspire people. But, Daniel, you and I both worked in many different countries and marketplaces, leading sales forces in different cultures, but there's a lot of commonality, right? As we learned, as we worked in more and more countries and that type of thing. So we'll get into a few subjects, and we can have a conversation around, the fact that, this particular concept doesn't just work in Hong Kong, or it doesn't just work in Taiwan, or it doesn't just work in Dubai. We can share these concepts with people that they can go out and start working on immediately to improve the trajectory and sales performance of their organization. So we'll talk about it also through that lens, not just Hong Kong. But Hong Kong is, for those of you not familiar with it, and there's a lot of you watching right now that have not been to Hong Kong, is an incredibly competitive market. And Daniel, the first topic I'd like to talk about is, given that fierce competitive environment, for many years you had to find talent, right, in that market. How were you able to identify and capture that talent to work in your organization?
Okay, thank you, Brad, for the question. This is a very good question. Recruitment and retention is a very critical job, particularly in Hong Kong, when we compare with some other markets. For the situation of Hong Kong nowadays, I think it's even more severe. Let me tell you why and what. Hong Kong is being included in, we call it the GBA Connect scheme. GBA means Greater Bay Area, whereby the central government of mainland China has included Hong Kong in 9 cities in the vicinity of the southern part of China. And what is the beauty of it? 8 other cities in this vicinity will also enjoy the wealth management products, which is only provided in Hong Kong today. So you see the opportunity there, right?
Oh, yeah, huge.
And then almost all the private bank, the retail banks, and the wealth management company, they are going to be good. I saw their plan. They're talking about hundreds and thousands in the coming few years. And then, you know how much is the population pool, the talent pool here? I think it's less than 10,000.
Wow.
So it will be very, very competitive. But if one have to look at it with a paradigm shift, look at it by perspective. Now Hong Kong, we have the population of 7 million. How much is the population for the total 9 cities? 85 million. So that's 10 times opportunity in terms of business and revenue. And I believe the people will be developed into relationship managers by time and enter into the market. So there's opportunity. But this is not the only thing. Let me ask you a question. How much is the population in China now? 1.4 billion.
That means 1.5 billion. Yep.
1.4, 1.5. That means the opportunity will be 200 times in terms of the revenue and the business multiple. If you are a banker, will you start to recruit? Definitely, yes. So having said that, I think if you ask me the question of how to recruit and how to retain, I think There's a very good Chinese word I want to say in Cantonese. 良禽擇木而棲. To translate into English, I think the direct translation is good birds choose wood for habitation, or meaning that talent people pick the best employer to work with. So ask ourselves, if you want the best people, are you a best employer? First, the good people will only choose or pick the best one. You know it, right?
Absolutely.
And you may ask, hey, how to qualify as the best employer? Then my basic philosophy is we have to show tender love, care, because we have to equip them and help them every moment, help them to win the battle outside because they are fighting for you every day. Then
absolutely.
One example is when you see how a mother nurture their kids in their happy time, downtime, and particularly the naughty time, then you know
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but when we go back to the wealth management business, the basic two fundamental is we have to well equip our company first. First thing in first is that we should have the best in class product, the most popular product, and the seasonal product provided to the customer so that RM can help you to sell. Number two is we have to provide a trusted investment advice so that your RM and your company can have an even better reputation. So having said that, of course, the sales tools, sales toolkit, you have to prepare them, right? All the script, 60-second sales speech, you know about the research capability, operation, seamless, compliance. One thing more important to say is compliance has to be customer-oriented and customer-centric so that we can help the salespeople. This is very important. So when we have all this, do you think that we are all done? My answer is you're only halfway done. You know what? Compensation is the key. You have to give reasonable good compensation. In Hong Kong, people is talking about no money, no talk. If you don't pay them well, definitely
that's right.
They won't come, right?
So
in our situation, in our workplace, I think is maybe a little bit different, because in my current workplace, in my company, it is more a business partner model, an entrepreneurial model, whereby they can have more autonomy. They have more freer time. They can work at home or work in office as they like. We don't ask them to come back definitely from 9 to 6 or 9 to 7, because the VPN nowadays, actually you can work 7 times 24, right? So one more thing I want to say is that people always think that the grass next door is greener. The Chinese would say the moon is rounder above, right? So let them admire you, let them know that you are good, then they will come. And the word of mouth is very powerful. I want to use the word of success begets success. Very important.
Yes.
And you will get a referral. And then the magnetic will work with the members. Member.
I think that's great, Daniel. Yeah, it's magnetic, right? You know, when you do these things, and, you know, we'll get into culture. My experience in focusing on building the right culture to attract and to facilitate the ecosystem, to facilitate the things that you're talking about is so vital, because that can actually make you unique among hundreds and even thousands of competitors, right? Regardless of where you're at. So, and if you were to talk about what you just meant, you know, we spoke about Hong Kong, but much of what you said applies elsewhere. But what would you say the difference would be in Taiwan? I mean, you ran a big branch network for a Standard Chartered Bank in Taiwan, right? So, differences there for recruiting talent, the same? What would you say?
Same. Basically, it is all human being. Standard Chartered Bank has even more branches in Hong Kong. We have 88 branches, and people is all over the places within Taiwan. Recruitment, retention, same thing. Same in any or many other countries.
No difference. Yeah. Okay. That's terrific. So noted on ecosystem, noted on compensation, and all the other things that you mentioned. matches up with my experience as well. What would you, when you have the team in place, so you've got the team in place and they're doing well, and you've got this ecosystem built. Can we talk for just a minute about some of the things that you did to make sure that they were growing professionally? They're happy, they're motivated, they're selling, they're doing well, they're meeting compliance. But what did you do to make sure that these thousands of people were growing professionally, Daniel?
Okay, I think the basic fundamental is you have to help them to build their competency. Okay, this is the basic need. But on top of the competency, I think more important is you have to make sure the teamwork is there. The teamwork is more important than anything. There is a Chinese saying that is, this is a word of wisdom. It's called, if you're going to break a chopstick, one chopstick, easy. But if you have a bunch, a lot of chopstick, you put it all together, you can hardly break it. Chinese saying. Another example is, if you put all the parts of the watch on the table, can they tell you the time?
That's right. It takes teamwork.
Funny, right?
It takes all of us, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right. Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually in Taiwan, we have a slogan. It is called 10-10 Kai-Sin. That is a happy every day. So we have to make it fun at work, make sure our people are working with fun and in a happy environment, so that they will deliver the best for you.
So what were could you give just one or two examples of what you did to make things fun for the salespeople underneath you?
Okay, I think you have to make sure that they have a happy time at work. For example, you can make use of the occasion of discussing of a sales call, meeting with the customer, and then leverage on the birthday opportunity or whatever. Don't just hold meeting with the people. Hold meeting with people, you will, at the end of the day, you will be suffer. Let me call one example, Brett, which is very meaningful.
Sure.
If you have the chance to visit Seattle, you know where I want to go, and you want to go, the fish market. Remember? The big place market, right? And how the fishmonger is turning the place into a joyful and happy environment. And then the business will come, the customer will come. People can look at the book of fish or look at the related video, enjoy reading it. The fish theory, it is very applicable to our daily life. But theoretically, actually, I have something that I want to mention, because I have a dictionary of myself. I have a HCCP model. H means hardworking. C is capability. And another C is competency. And the last one, P, is professionalism. I strongly believe hardworking can build capability, and capability can build competency. Then competency will build your professionalism. Then if one is being professional, then that's good. I don't believe any set of kind of casual success. I don't trust that. Everyone work behind, work really hard, and it's only that they don't tell you. So what I want to finalize in this answer is, being hardworking is the basic. Being capable can keep you survive. Being competent can better secure your job. You have to be professional, and that is your destination.
Absolutely.
You know that. You know that survival is not easy in most of the job posts now. But we are talking about succeed. Go for succeed. Aim for succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great advice, Daniel. And regardless, that this doesn't work just applying banking either. I can tell you that that those principles and those activities and those areas that you focus on, and including the professionalism, is critically important, because people, you mentioned something earlier talking about trust. People have to trust, right? And people will trust professionalism. And just like in banking, you need world-class product and service, to help motivate and inspire your sales force. Part of that trust is the professionalism. Okay. And it's incumbent upon all of us, everybody at all levels of an organization, to exhibit that professionalism with how they treat each other, how they talk to each other, how they run meetings, and especially how you engage with clients, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Daniel, let's shift a little bit to a lot of world-class teams you built, and I have fond memories from our time at City together, observing what you did to inspire. I even went to some of your recognition events that I can see them still clear as a bell in my head. But maybe you could just share with the audience what you did beyond compensation. So we're just going to assume that, the part of the ecosystem is to have the right compensation in place, right? The right compensation systems in place so that you're you get what you paid for, basically, which is what you mentioned. Let's assume that's in place, but let's talk about the non-compensation aspects. What are some of the things that you did to help inspire and motivate the sales force to continue to perform at top levels?
Yeah, thank you, Brett. I think motivation is very, very important. As a manager, I think if we want to ensure the team spirit is high, is there, then can do two things. One is to inspect the expected. Number two is MBWA. MBWA means management by walking around, or put it in a funny way, management by wandering around. This is very important, but this is sales manager's job. On motivation, we can apply the law of averages. The law of average is free of charge. Law of average means, the meaning of law of average is meaning that something will turn out soon. Don't give up.
Right.
Okay. This is very important.
You can predict. It can help predict.
Yeah, you have to use that. Incentive, sales program, commission sharing. There's definitely you have to use it. But if you apply the law of average correctly, it will be very good. And let me explain a little bit about the law of average. Not everybody understand well of the law of average. Let me give an example of a telemarketing call. If a telemarketer is going to make an outbound call, if he or she has made 30 outbound calls, or failed, all line being cut, all in vain, how's the feeling of the telemarketer? Frustrated, want to drop, want to quit, want to leave the job. Then the manager should come at that time, tell them about the law of average. How to tell? Hey, try the next call. The next call may be okay. Remember, you have 0 sales attempt or conversion rate. You have 0 conversion rate. If you make it successful in the 31st call, it becomes 3%, 3 times. If you make it also successful in the call of, say, 33, 35, and 40th, 4 calls out of 40 calls, how much is the successful rate? 10%.
You're up to 10. Yeah.
Right. So it's a good sales attempt. That is the way to motivate people free of charge. On top of the pricing skill, I also mentioned before. So this is important. And I think we also need to make sure that the program is there, the marketing program, customer program, sales program is there to help the people. This is very important. We once have a very good marketing program in Hong Kong, whereby we work together with Louis Vuitton, LV shop. We asked LV shop to give our best performers, best RM, to go there to shop for 1 hour free of charge. Of course, we pay the fee for them. How is the gimmick? We ask our people to target their items to buy or to gain from the bank. And what next? We pay it, right? And then of course they will get the most luxury and the best one. You know what?
Absolutely.
What they will get it for? They will get it for their significant others. If they get it for the significant others, some of them, they will tell them ahead of time. And then what is the magic behind? The significant other will help you to motivate your people to achieve it and get the good.
Exactly.
And finally,
it's teamwork again, right? On a personal basis.
Yeah. That was very successful. That was very successful. At that time, actually, we want to target the sun and land on the moon. We want to shoot at the sun and land on the moon.
Mm.
We want 3 times revenue momentum growth. We did it. You'll be surprised. LV didn't give us 1 hour. They give us 2 hours to shop because too many winners at that time. And it becomes out of the time at that time, but it is all being regulated. We have to, we have all the revenue cost ratio, all the regulatory requirement.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I can vouch for that too. I looked at all that as well, right? So it was amazing, right? What they did, and it just compounds, right? When you build this type of ecosystem, it feeds off of itself, right?
Yeah, that's important. And also, I think the basic stuff like morning briefing, day and huddle, the kind of Cohen-Brown model, you know it, right? This is very important. Yeah, morning briefing is very important. You don't let your people to be just a listener. You have to give them some championship, designate something to them, and then they will become an active and proactive contributor. This is important. Day and huddle, a lot of people, salespeople don't like it. You know why? It is the time for them to think what they have done wrong, and there may be some success sharing. But if they think that it is a hard time for them, nobody will follow you. So coaching will come up in this particular moment, and then we have to help them to handle the objection. This is very important. Always keep the huddle time in a happy and fun moment. Then you win.
That's right. The law of averages, the teamwork. All of these things. And, really what we're saying in summary, without repeating all of it, is that sales managers and sales leaders, this is what they should be focused on. These types of parts of the ecosystem, not looking at people and say, are you making your number? Are you making your sales? Are you doing this? And just, becoming an accountant for what people are selling. That stuff doesn't work. It doesn't inspire, and it burns people out. And I think, Daniel, what you're talking about is great. It's truly inspirational. And so for those salespeople and relationship managers and private bankers watching this, I know there's a lot of you out there. If your bosses aren't doing this for you, you should create some pressure to have them do it for you, because this is the right way to build happiness and sustainability in your organization over a very long period of time. And the best outcome of all is happy employees, which is you, and happy customers over the long term. And everybody wins that way. So if this isn't happening, make the pressure. Okay. And because you have the power to inspire change above you. Okay. This is the right way to do it, what Daniel's talking about. Daniel, one more important aspect. We briefly touched on it, but it's so important, on doing the right thing for customers. Okay. All the time. And that's an important part of the ecosystem. You mentioned it earlier, talking about compliance, but let's go a little bit deeper into how you make sure that part of the ecosystem of doing the right thing for customers is there in place, and how you've realized success from that.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Doing the right thing for the customer, to me, is a basic need. So one of the winning formula is under promise and over deliver. But this is very simple. We have to create a culture of excellence. So, but when you think of the culture of excellence, it is a long journey. That kind of journey, actually, we should not say create. We have to discover it. I repeat, discover the journey for your corporation. This is very important. In my Bible or in my own dictionary, I have another few words that is, to me, I call it ONT-CSL. That is Operation Excellency. Okay. And what is T? Can you guess?
No. Go ahead. Help me out. Teamwork.
That is excellent. Team excellency. And then CSL. CSL means
client.
Yes.
Service.
Brilliant. customer experience excellency, sales excellency,
Yep.
and leadership excellency.
Leadership.
But,
Okay.
So you know
CSL.
there's
Yep.
something behind. Brett, CSL, you know who is CSL? This is me. My Chinese name is Chao. CSL.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Funny, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have to make sure the CX, the customer experience is there. This is very important. You can go to, you can see the business, have a business review, and you can review the Bain and Co model, which is talking about the NPS, Net Promoter Score.
Net Promoter Score.
NPS,
right.
Very important, because the high NPS customer give you what? They buy more. They stay longer.
And that's right. And they bring their friends and family, right?
Yeah. They provide you feedback. This is invaluable. They give you ideas. More important to say, they give you referral. Referral is the most critical part in the sales world, and you know it, right? So keep a very high NPS in your company. It helps.
That's right. Absolutely. And you know, that Daniel, it's a great point, because that's what regulators want, right? The regulators don't want this red tape, money laundering, know your customer stuff of checking boxes. Okay. Those things we all have, everybody has to do that, right? That's very important to comply. The regulators want that, but they don't want a bunch of stiff-neck compliance people and auditors sitting there just trying to tick a box to make them to justify their job. And that's why a lot of times you have a regulator come in and they find a problem, right? And the audit department didn't discover that problem, or the compliance department didn't discover it. The regulator did. And so for all of you watching here, and I know there's a lot of bosses and sales leaders and distribution heads watching this, you need to focus on these things that Daniel's talking about, because then you don't have to worry about any of that. And you'll make those compliance people that are just ticking boxes, they'll become irrelevant and they'll go away. And then you'll get proper compliance people that will do the right type of checking and the right type of things. People like Graham Dixon at Citi. He's a veteran for more than 4 decades.
Yes.
Okay. And he's not in compliance. He's in the business now, but it's the time that he was in compliance when we're building these Citi Asia franchises like Hong Kong, that everybody, and I mean everybody, the clients are so proud of, right? They were built the right way, and you have relevant compliance people like Mr. Dixon. You have relevant auditors in place that are fulfilling the spirit of what the regulators want. And then you're on the regulator side, and you're on the side of the people, right? Instead of, a battle with compliance and auditing. So again, a message to salespeople: create this pressure, okay, because this is your boss's job, right? To do these things and help build this ecosystem that Daniel's talking about. And if your bosses aren't doing it, go somewhere else. Because the best people go to the best employers, as Daniel said, right? So and the best employers are doing the things that we're talking about. And so if you're not with one of those employers, start looking around, right? And we can help you with programs like this to share what world-class companies do. So at any point, I think we made the point on doing the right thing for the clients, Daniel, and thank you for sharing some of those tactics. Daniel, the last point, and we're just about out of time. It's flying by. I wish we had an hour, but we don't. How do you've achieved so much in your career. How do you build faith and confidence in yourself? We spent half hour talking about others in leading thousands of people and what you can do to build proper culture and ecosystems. But I'm talking, this question's directly for you, between your eyes. How do you build faith and confidence in yourself to do all of this?
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for the kind words. So basically, I have a very simple dictionary of myself, which is ABC.
Okay, ABC. Let's hear it.
A is avoid ego. B is brave enough. C is can do attitude. Just simple ABC, right? But failure is not my option, and failure, I believe, is not the option for many others. Basically, nobody plan to fail. It's only those they don't have a good plan. So everything must be under a good plan and think it through. So then you will find your job, your work in a very good way. So glad, I think in the past 30 minutes, you have at least learned some Chinese, like my name, right?
quite a bit of it as well. You're going to keep me awfully busy later today, Daniel, my time doing the write-up on this, because I will extract the main points. So ABC, can you just repeat that one more time for the audience? Because I think that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Okay. A is avoid ego, EGO. B is brave enough. C is can do attitude. So hopefully this 30 minutes, we are not bringing intrinsic value to our audiences. We are giving them some good memory or some sentimental value.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you, Brett, and wishing everyone every success, because success begets success.
That's
thank
right.
You, Brett.
That's a great way to close out. And Daniel, thank you for taking the time out of your day. It's a holiday in Hong Kong today, and I appreciate you coming on the program and sharing your experience, knowledge, and most importantly, wisdom around leadership. And it's incredibly powerful. Thank you so much, Daniel. I look forward to having you again in the future. And I'd like to thank all of you for tuning into this, and I'm sure you'll find many aspects of it inspiring, and hopefully grab on to some of the concepts that can help you change those areas that you think need to be fine-tuned or improved in your organization. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Next week, the cameras are heading back down to the African continent and zeroing in on Zambia. And I'm going to have a wonderful woman on the program to talk about something very inspirational. So I'll look forward to announcing who that will be and the times sometime next week. So for now, have a terrific evening and a great day, depending on where you are.